Yo, assalamu alaikum, wagwan. You're now locked into the crossover DXB of myself, Myers and Freek. What you saying to me, my guy?
Good, man. How you been, bro?
I've been good. To be honest, I've been upset, but we can get to it for obvious reasons.
Okay.
Never quite come home. But we'll get into it. Before we start, like, subscribe, you know the vibes. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Show love. Show respect. If you don't like things, tell us. If you like things, tell us. Loving the Instagram interaction and all that sort of stuff. That's good. So it's good for analytics. We move, you know, the vibes. Today, we got a very special guest. Very special guest. I would like to call a pioneer. We'll understand why moving forward in his field. You know, let's get to it. We got the big Josh Oguntuwahe.
Wow. That sounded Hawaiian.
Wow. Is that how we?
It's close. It's close. It's very close. Not quite.
Yeah, all right. Okay, well,
when he said Oguntuwahe.
Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? You know what it is, yeah? It's too big of a name to mess up. I didn't want to disrespect the vibes. Also known as Fitness v Work. Also known as Big Josh.
Yeah, fully.
Also known as, what anymore AKs?
I don't even know, you know. Probably just Joshua or Fitness v Work. Yeah, probably those two cover it.
Yeah. Okay, well, it's nice. I'm glad that you've passed through.
Thank you for having me, man.
I hit up Josh simply because, first of all, someone I'm a fan of. Second of all, someone that I'm close with. I respect you within the fitness field, especially in the U.A.E. Got a great following. I see you also being innovative in some way, so we can get to that. So, yeah, I mean, tell the people who don't necessarily know who you are, what's really good, what you're up to.
Okay. Well, yeah, so what can I say? My name is Josh. I'm a personal trainer. I'm also a school teacher. And obviously the idea of what I do is, by and large, kind of the mix and the combination of personal training and fitness to create the brand of Fitness v Work. So obviously trying to create the ideal healthy body for the busy working professional, which is my life and essentially what I sell and how I try and obviously inspire other people alongside my journey. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
So when you say Fitness v Work, because when you look at these like celebrity platforms and profiles and stuff like that, and you see a man go from 30 stone to 15 stone for a movie role or something like that. Okay, yes, it's achievable, but sometimes it's a little bit unrealistic because in between those times, the average person does have work, innit? The average person does have. What are you saying? What are you showing us? I can't even see it. Oh, no, I'll see it. I'll look at it in a minute. The average person has work. Average person has responsibilities. Average person has children and whatever else. So are those fitness goals actually achievable within a particular time scale? So is that what you're saying? This is for not the average person, but people that obviously have 9-to-5s alongside trying to meet fitness goals. And stuff like
spot on. I think, let's say the average person. I think we try and shy away from the average person because of the stigma we associate with someone who's average. The reality of the matter is someone who's average is someone who makes up predominantly most people. Okay, so you know what most people are like, and the reality of the matter is most people are busy. Most people have other commitments. Most people enjoy food. Most people have their individual challenges when it comes to fitness. And I think it's trying to help people in the most sustainable way from a training and a nutrition perspective of obviously trying to achieve their fitness goals, whether it's trying to build muscle or burn fat in the most sustainable and effective and efficient way possible. And I suppose, you know, me being in that situation as the average person in some ways of, you know, having a 9-to-5 and obviously being a personal trainer and the fitness business that goes alongside it, I'm able to empathize and help people just like myself, obviously, achieve sustainable results. I mean, you talk about the 30 pounds, losing 30 pounds in, I don't know, a couple of weeks, couple of days, whatever it might be. You know, everything's possible. I think the key, obviously, that I'll always, the emphasis always is, you know, what's sustainable as opposed to what's possible.
Yeah. Because I'm sure we've all been away, booked a holiday, said, yeah, I'm going to look like this. And then you get to there. But after the holiday, bro, it's like, you can't sustain it. It's mad. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure Freek's back to the falafels,
bro,
shawarmas.
Honest, bro, I think everyone wanted to be fit. Everyone wants to be fit. Everyone wants to be hinged. Everyone's, you know what I mean? But it's always the challenge of, bro, what am I supposed to eat? And how many meals a day? Like, that's the first question I wanted to ask. How many meals do you eat a day?
How many meals do I eat specifically?
Yeah.
It depends on the day, to be honest.
Like, you have to balance a certain...
Yeah,
like,
you have to balance. I mean, there's science to it, I guess, but, you know, the typical person, or let's go back to the average person, will eat 3 meals a day. But listen, man, I'm like, eat as many fucking meals a day as you want. Like, if you want to eat 5 meals a day and there's smaller portion meals, then eat 5 meals a day. If you want to eat 2 meals a day because you don't like eating breakfast, then fucking eat 2 meals a day. I think the problem is with the fitness thing, it's like everyone feels like there's one simple kind of route that everyone needs to be following. Oh, you need to have 3 meals a day. Well, no, you fucking don't. Okay?
But does it affect your body?
When you say affect your body, when you say what,
Like,
trying to
are you
build
gonna
muscle?
lose? Are you gonna lose certain muscles if you don't eat certain meals? Like,
I think you're. I mean, meal frequency. So eating 3 or 4 or 5 times a day is very different to meal volume, because like you see people who are overweight and you ask them, how many meals do you eat a day? 1. You eat 1 meal a day and you're overweight. Well, that meal, let's look at that meal. That meal's at 10,000 calories. You know what I mean? So when you ask a question about, oh, look, are you going to lose weight? It's not
respective.
Yeah, it's all respective. It's not necessarily about the meal frequency. It's about what are in those meals. Okay. So obviously there's other factors to take into consideration. Obviously, if you're trying to build muscle, for example, you probably want to eat more. So eating once a day, in most cases, isn't going to be enough. You probably want to eat 2 or 3 or 4, maybe 4 times a day. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like I said, the average person wants to try and aim to eat 3 meals a day because, you know, you can get that nice balance in terms of nutrients across all 3 meals. Yeah. But listen, like I always say to people, no, if you want to eat 2 meals a day, eat 2 meals a day, because some people don't like eating breakfast. I don't like eating breakfast. I ain't breakfast today. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
So I will typically, on average, eat 2 meals a day. Sometimes 3 if I'm like, you know, I've got a bit more time, extra time. I know some people eat 4 meals a day. I know some people eat 5 meals a day. I don't think there's a fix. It's not set.
Depends on what you want to achieve.
Yeah, it does depend. I know on your lifestyle as well, most importantly. If you say to me, look, Josh, I don't like eating dinner.
Because you're a busy guy. Like, that's the first thing. Because if you told me doing it full time, then I might be like, all right, he has time to actually set certain meals. But if you're a busy guy and you're actually doing that, like, frequently, and you're actually working out. And
fully.
Yeah. Then definitely there's a thing. It's all a myth. I think it's all a myth. Like,
yeah. I mean,
like,
like I said, there is a science to eating 3 meals a day. So for example, one science is people say, look, if you're trying to build muscle, or even if you're trying to lose fat and you're trying to retain your muscle, you need to have adequate protein intake. Yeah. So you need to make sure you consume enough protein. There's a lot of science that suggests actually every meal, the maximum, the optimal is probably 30 to 40 grams of protein that you can fully digest and will be effective and work per meal. Okay. So imagine you've got a target of, I don't know, 120 grams. Yeah. The reality of the matter is, it's probably impractical for you only to have 2 meals a day, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's probably more practical for you to have 3 meals a day and spread it across, so you get that nice intake of protein. You can effectively use your protein. Exactly. So there is a science to elements of it, but I always say to people, listen, what you can do consistently will always outweigh what you can do every once in a while.
Absolutely. And I think it's vital to understand that what might work for me might not necessarily work for you.
Fully.
Do you know what I'm saying? Depends on my lifestyle, what my build up is, what my body mass is and stuff like that. Do you know what I'm saying? But obviously we're in Dubai. Everyone knows that by now by watching us and keeping up to date and stuff like that. Fitness is global, yeah?
Yeah.
But what's the reason why you moved from the UK to Dubai? Like, what's the benefits?
Tax-free, baby.
I hear that.
Tax-free.
But, you know, I've had a lot of people at home as well. And when I say home, I mean UK, saying, I'm going to come out there and try the fitness thing. And I'm saying to them, bro, it's not a try the fitness thing. It's a full-time job. Do you know what I'm saying? Or if you're able to balance, you have the ability to be able to balance, like a man like Josh that's got another job on the side to sustain you, but at the same time you need to put in a certain level of commitment into this fitness thing. It's not overnight, because would you say that the U.A.E is saturated with fitness professionals?
Yeah. The U.A.E
personal trainers
fully.
Like
I think the U.A.E market is massively saturated with personal training, but I always look at that as an opportunity. I think when there's a market, any industry that is massively saturated with professionals, I think actually it gives you more opportunity to shine. It's easy to see the good personal trainers, or you know what I mean, or you know the good real estaters.
Quality over quantity.
Quality. Because I think when there's one, obviously when the market's saturated, it shows you the demand for it. Okay, and I think the reality of the matter is when the market usually is saturated, there's about to be a good percentage of those people in the market that are shit. Do you know what I mean? So you get a lot of people in the U.A.E or in like globally who aren't qualified personal trainers, who aren't great personal trainers, who've just jumped on it. So I think, you know, the fact that it's saturated actually is, I think it's a good thing. I think it's easy for you to stand out.
I think you're confident because some people might say, there's a lot of competitions, then you might not shine because there's a lot of people doing it. You know what I mean?
Fully. 100%.
It's just the way you look at it.
It's like yourself, innit, as a musician.
Yeah.
Like, actually, mate, how many people are trying to be musicians? Do you know what I mean?
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
But then obviously your thing is, all right, well, one, obviously you've got your own unique take. And I always look at it myself and, you know, Myers will tell you, like, I've got my own unique twist that I add to fitness that I bring to it. No one else can be me. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So I think I never look at, don't get me wrong, like, I won't ever look at the industry and go, oh, look, listen, this is easy, or, you know, it's easy to make it. I understand the challenges will come in with an industry that's saturated, but I do genuinely believe that when an industry is saturated and there's lots of people in that industry, it gives you an opportunity to shine. If there's only 5-person trainers in the world, or 5-person trainers in the UAE, then how do you differ between what's a good one or a bad one? Do you know what I mean?
Or on top of that, it might not be as recognized. It might not be in demand. 100%. So where you know it's saturated, there is a demand there. So it's about standing out. What's your niche? Do you know what I'm saying?
And I think that there's that consistent dialogue about person trainers and whatnot and what to expect. I mean, especially in one of the massive differences in the UK and UAE, and one of the things that drew me here was in the UK, people don't have person trainers as much as they do in the UAE typically. It's like the thing.
It's like a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle thing.
Right.
A lot of people have person trainers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because it's so much saturated, and I suppose because it's saturated, you know, in terms of kind of supply, you know, you can get really affordable person training, like, which you might not necessarily be able to get in London. So I think with that in mind, I always look at it from my position, right? Look, if I'm coming to the market where people enjoy having person trainer, and having a person trainer is the thing to do. Look, as long as I'm myself and I add my own twist to it, it's easy for me to stand out.
So would you say personal training is like a service? So with that comes with you get what you pay for.
Yeah, I mean, I personally,
because where it's saturated, the market might be a bit up and down because you have men that are just come out of nowhere, not necessarily qualified.
1 million followers.
You know what I'm saying? Out of nowhere, but like charging below the average rate, the market rate, which is messing up the vibe. So
I don't think it messes up the vibe, you know.
What do you think?
Do you know why I don't think it messes up the vibe? Because I think, one, I always looked at it as it does come down to confidence, and it does come down to your individual perspective. So let's talk about pricing. Yeah, you've got man who are charging, I don't know, maybe 100 dirhams per person training. Yeah? I always say, look, no disrespect to a man who's charging 100 dirhams per person training, but I always say buy cheap, buy twice. I think the price that someone is putting on their service is always going to give you a good indication of how much value they're able to offer. Do you know what I mean? Versus another man offering
spitting facts.
Do you know what I mean? Versus another man
gems.
Putting 500, 600, where you're paying 500 to 600 dirhams an hour for person training, you know, obviously, as the person trying to deliver the service is going to ensure that, okay, I need to be able to justify this value. Do you know what I mean?
And if they have a clientele that shows, oh, actually, people are actually paying this consistently, so whatever you're paying for must be making sense.
And obviously, for me, like, my model's always been, like, I think person training is a service-based thing, but it needs to be a lifestyle. I always say to my clients, I brand myself as a lifestyle trainer. So I don't just look at, it's not about me seeing just an hour in the gym. I want to know what your nutrition's like. Yeah, I have people who help me with the nutrition aspects. I can help my clients with nutrition aspects. All right, what about the mental side? Okay, I've got a network of psychiatrists, you know, those kind of people that I work with alongside with that I can refer my clients to. So it's a whole kind of cycle. You come and see me.
There's a mental shit to it too.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, bro, we was gonna get into it. Still, there's a lot to get to. There's a lot to get to.
Of course, there's the mental stuff, and I think that's the reality. When someone says to me and I say, "Look, here's my price of person training," and go, "Oh, it's too expensive," you're probably not for me anyway. Go somewhere else. You know what I mean? The people that are for me will come to me, and I always say to people, one thing I've realized as well is, listen, no matter what your price is, someone out there is prepared to pay for it, and someone out there isn't, and that's okay. Do you know what I mean? So I think regardless of what the market's doing, don't get me wrong. Like, obviously, when the Corona thing happened, you know, it's a bit everyone has to be adaptable in every industry. But I think the reality of the matter is, as long as you're confident in what the service you're trying to deliver and you're offering value, you're always going to thrive. Always.
I hear that, and do you know what's funny? It's like just from outside the box looking in, and you touched on it when you're talking about mental well-being. As a fitness professional, from my understanding, yes, it's all good and well, personal training physically, but I'm sure people use that time out of their day to vent. So out of nowhere, you might be hearing about a man or a woman's problems
Fully.
whilst they're training.
Fully.
So what do you say to that? Do you think there is a certain level of due diligence or way to carry yourself in order to make that person feel comfortable whilst training, and almost be like a soundboard. And there's that privacy and confidentiality when people are expressing things to you. I don't know, have you ever had people kind of vent to you whilst training, and you know, it's a safe space sort of thing? Like,
100%. I mean, I have people vent to me every single session. Every single day. Because, I mean, I've got clients who share things with me that they don't even share with their wives. And I think the reality of the matter is that's why personal training or that hour or exercising is really, really important for everyone, because that's your hour to yourself, isn't it? That's your self-care hour. Do you know what I mean? So you enter that gym and this is it. Like, I think another element, a massive part to the business is relationships. You need to be able to build relationships to sustain any clientele or any loyal
loads
base.
of gems today,
you know what I mean?
boys. Like, loads of gems today.
Relationships are massively important, and obviously with a lot of my clients I've had for a long period of time, so they feel comfortable when we've got a relationship, and because we've got a relationship, they talk to me about stuff that they won't speak to anyone about. I hear like the wildest, like I'll tell you some of the stories some of my clients have been involved in, and just madnesses.
What's the wildest story? What's the wildest story? Go on, what's the wildest story?
Do you know I can't?
You can drop a little one. No names. What are you saying to me?
Do you know what it is? Do you know, I will tell you one.
It's the crossover, baby. We're gonna get to the shits. We're gonna get to the shits. We're just prepping them in, but we're gonna get to it. You know what I'm saying?
Like, just a mad story. Like, for example, one of my clients went to Monaco, and then he turned up, and then he was arrested by Interpol. Like mistaken like identity or something, like, I don't know, along the lines of, or something to do with an issue he had with someone over in the U.A.E. And do you know what I mean?
They caught up.
Do you know what I mean? Like, madness is like that. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that he hadn't even spoken to his family about there and then. I'm listening to that. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously in between our sets and rest he's talking to me about.
And a certain level of trust.
Do you know what I mean? 100%. And I think that's the challenge with the job of personal training as well. I think it can be quite draining because you're having all these people talk to you about stuff, and I think almost it's like your job to kind of soak it up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think, like, don't get me wrong, like I always say to people, like, if you come to me with an injury-related problem, I'm going to refer you to a physio, because that's out of my expertise. I might have a kind of, you know, maybe this is what you could do, but I would refer you to a physio. Like, even my clients, I refer them to a therapist or psychiatrist. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? They've got but equally, just like a friend talking to another friend, you know, you have to be prepared to listen and soak up that information. And I think the massive, you're right, I think from a mental well-being point of view, it's a really, really good opportunity for a lot of my clients. I have some of my clients through certain periods who all they will do is, like, they'll go through a period and they're just talking about all the things that they're going through. Do you know what I mean?
And I personally don't think you will get that from the 100 dirham an hour man. You know what I'm saying? The 100 dirham an hour man is just telling you how to probably use a machine. And that's as far as it goes, because he's from a different background. You know what I'm saying? He don't really understand the culture that you're from. Do you know what I'm saying? He might not be able to adapt to. He's just tarnishing everyone with the same brush. You're here to train. I'll show you how to use the machines. This is my guess on that sort of price range. Not talking about the actual. I'm just talking about lower end. Let's not put a figure on things. But what I'm saying is, you might not necessarily get that level of comfort and privacy with that that value. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, what do you want out of the experience? Do you know
I think also, I mean, the thing is, the price aside, I think, like you said, if you talk about the lower end or what people are charging, again, it's all relative to living standards, the country that you live in. And I always say, forget personal training in every single industry. I always say, look, listen, if you put a lot of effort into your art and what you do, charge people for it. You know, I was reading a book the other day, and this guy, it's called Happy Sexy Millionaire, a guy by Steve Bartlett. And he was like, listen, when he turned 22, he decided how much he was worth for an hour. And he was like, look, my actual worth for an hour based on what I've achieved so far, based on my expertise, based on my skill stack, is $10,000. Now, anything that doesn't meet that demand, whether it's talks, whether it's someone asks me to do something, I will either say no or outsource that work. I'm not going to sit there and do something if my time is worth $10,000. And I think everyone should do more of that. So for me, I look at my life and go, all right, cool, what am I actually worth on an hourly basis? Do you know what I mean? And I think the reality of the matter is, if I'm sitting there doing something that doesn't meet what I consider myself to be worth, then someone else should be doing it. Do you know what I mean? And obviously,
so you're saying you're going to invoice us after? Because right now we're on a tight budget. We're on a tight budget right now at the TCO. You understand? We're on the building right now. So, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, but hold on. But then this hour here is worth it because one, I get an opportunity to reach a new audience that I might not have reached. I get an opportunity to help and support people and educate people. Do you know what I mean? And I get an opportunity to learn from you guys. It's worth my time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think there's such thing as free work if you see value in other things.
100%, without a shadow of doubt. So going back to that hour that you talk about people to charging the low end, I think sometimes if you're charging, let's just say 100 dirhams an hour, the likelihood is you're probably gonna have more clients than someone who's charging 700 dirhams an hour.
Facts.
If you've got more clients than someone who's charging 700 dirhams an hour, the likelihood is the time that you can give those clients who are coming through the door is going to be a lot less compared to someone who's charging, who's got like 5 or 6 clients. Do you know what I mean? If you've got 25 people on paper on your database, it's literally just getting everyone in and out, in and out, in and out. You're not going to have time to touch base with those people after the session. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to have time to check on their nutrition, their basis. So I think, yes, you're right.
It has a knock-on effect.
Of course it has a knock-on. And this is...
And that might work for someone, but not work
other
for
people.
Man.
This is it, exactly. So this is why I say to, like, with the personal training thing, it's more of a, for me anyway, the way I see it is more of a holistic thing. I'd rather have a smaller client base who I help and support in every aspect than just have lots of people who come through and then out the door.
I think it's important to also note that, like, before we're going to get into, you know, the fun and games, but like what you do, how would you say that you stand out? Because I'll tell you from now, I've seen like the social media and stuff like that. And I've seen that the skits that you're starting to do and you've been doing for a little while now, and I must say they're hilarious. And not only hilarious, they're relatable. And I think there's a stigma with fitness-based people to be a little bit dry around the edges. You know what I'm saying? They don't really got personality and character. So I have not seen somebody of your physique, of your knowledge of the industry, have this much character and humor in your work. And I think that you've tapped into a market there that is fantastic. Massive void.
Definitely adds up.
Definitely. What would you say about that?
You like the content,
No, you seen it.
Jokes.
So what do you think about that?
As well, huh? What do I think about that? One, obviously,
is that intentional, unintentional?
It's definitely intentional. Definitely intentional. From 2 perspectives. Let's talk about the business perspective. One, I'm 6'3". I weigh about 106 or 107 pounds. The average person looks at me and goes, "That's unachievable." Okay, so we talk about balance and the working person who's trying to balance work life and fitness. Most men don't look like me in terms of size and build and whatnot. And actually, most men don't want to look like me in terms of size and build. Everyone wants a little 6-pack, want to be a little bit lean, do you know what I mean? Be a bit healthy and be mobile. No one wants to be like, don't get me wrong, I won't say I'm like, no neck. But do you know what I mean? But I think, do you know what I mean? I'm not quite that big, but I think the reality of the matter is a lot of people look at me and go, fuck, you know, he's huge. Do you know what I mean? So when I go back to when I started my social media in 2015, you know, a lot of it was just pictures and workouts of myself. And it's good, do you know what I mean? It's entertaining, it's nice to see, and people like to see that. But I think the reality of the matter is, I'm like, a lot of people then look at me, a lot of people I'm trying to target. And don't forget, I'm not trying to target people who look like me. Do you know what I mean? Because the reality of the matter is, any bodybuilder who looks like me or is relatively to my size or trying to compete, they're not going to come to me. They're not.
They see you might see you as competition or might not necessarily need a piece.
100%. And more importantly, they're probably going to go to like a professional coach who's like training people for the Olympia or whatnot. Or if they're a similar build, they might be going to like a professional sports athlete. Do you know what I mean? Or do you know what I mean? They're not coming to me as a personal trainer. Who are the people that I want to come to me? The people that I want to come to me are the people who are like myself, 9 to 5, trying to balance work life and fitness. So how do I then make myself more relatable to them? Do I then lose all the weight and then just become smaller? Or do I share a story which suggests to my audience and people that I'm going through the same kind of things that you're going through? And that's the strategy. If I just show people that, look, I get cravings at night, straight away, someone who doesn't necessarily look like me, but who also gets cravings. I get cravings too, you know? Maybe you can help me with that. Or I have struggle sleeping. Do you know what I mean? Oh, wait, yeah, you got struggle sleeping as well. All right, cool, yeah, same here, actually. That's more relatable. Oh, what, you like biscuits a lot? Oh, wow, I thought you didn't eat biscuits. I thought you just ate veg and broccoli 24/7. Do you know what? Actually, this is more relatable. Do you know what I mean?
So would you say your content makes you more approachable, understandable and relatable?
Without a shadow of doubt, I would say to people, I've been in Dubai for 3 years and I've never ever advertised for personal training, and I've always been fully booked.
That's big. There's big gems there, boy.
I've never ever.
So you just walk into the gym and be like, yo.
Yeah, but that's the thing. This is the power, isn't it? I'm based in a private gym, so it's not that I'm picking up my clients from commercial gyms.
Sick.
I'm just picking up from, you see it, fitness training. You see my website. You see the content. The content leverages the attention. if you're interested and you look at me that I'm in shape and you see I'm a fitness trainer, straight away, if you're that interested, you're going to go on my website. Definitely. Go on my website. As soon as you go on my website, you're going to inquire. That's it. It's that simple. And obviously, that's the thing. Like, there's one aspect of me being, you know, the funny, the humorous thing. But obviously, what you have to do then is like, actually, what's really going to seal a lot of these deals are your ability to help other people. Yeah. So they go on the website, they see hundreds of transformations and all the people I've helped with. And then bang, that's how I signed the deal. Do you know what I mean? I've never really actively, I don't think I've ever advertised for personal training since I've been in the U.A.E. That's ever. Sick. Do you know what I mean? And I've always been in demand. Bro. And whether it's word of mouth, whether it's people going from my website, that's it. Do you know what I mean? The service and what I'm trying to offer speaks for itself, because the reality of the matter is, what I'm doing on Instagram is still a business. Whether people see it directly as a business, it's still business. That's what I'm trying to offer. So I think the reality of the matter is...
Because I look at it from two perspectives. Yeah. I know you as a person. So I see it and I laugh and it's relatable. Fully. But at the same time, I say, this is fantastic marketing. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Branding. Fully. Do you know what I'm saying? So you might not be rolling to the gym saying, oh, do you need someone? Or but that is your method of getting out there. Fully. And the word is being spread. Yeah. And it's just a subtle way of doing it. No one likes things that are in your face. Fully. Get 50% off, eat special. Like, sometimes that's all long, especially if it's like service based. In my opinion. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's interesting. I think
with that, there's always going to be a time and place for that, and you know we'll get into that. But just to obviously the other aspect, we talked about the U.A.E. being a saturated market. Yeah. We talk about the fitness brands and whatnot. You go on social media now, and I always ask myself a question. More. Why do I follow the people I follow? That's a question I always ask myself. Anyone, I always go, why do I follow these people? Especially people with massive followings or great engagement. And I ask myself a few questions about why I follow them. Usually, most cases, it will often fall into two main brackets: entertainment, information. Yeah. And I think for me, my strategy has always been, if I can try and offer both, bang. Do you know what I mean? It's easy for me to then build the platform and build the engagement.
I would agree with you with those two. Yeah. I would add one more, motivation.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that comes to the entertainment
side of things, aspect, possibly. Yeah. So but other than that, I agree massively. Fully. And those are questions that I think people need to start asking themselves. Like, why do I do this way? Do you know what I'm saying? What works for me? Fully. Do you know what I'm saying? What taps into my hobbies? Why are these my hobbies? Or why do I operate like this? And then work around that in a positive manner and aspect.
Without a shadow of that. And that's what comes to it. When you actually think about the saturated market, whatnot, I don't care about that. Because the reality of the matter is, there's only one Joshua Oguntuashe. One of my clients said to me, like, oh, Joshua, you know why you're so lucky? It's because, like, it's so easy for you to do videos because you're just being you. Like, you know what I'm like, innit? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know the whole social media thing isn't necessarily... Okay, yes, it's a performance, it's a show because I've got edited production-based videos with an intention in mind, but you spent loads of time, you know what I'm like, do you know what I mean?
What you see is what you get.
Exactly.
What you see is what you get.
Yeah. So, and that's the power with anyone trying to build a brand. Your power, and especially in the day in the where we are now with the industry, social media, online content creation, every market by and large in some way, even a property market. I see property market on TikTok, people producing TikToks on properties, even that's saturated. What's going to separate you from everyone else is you, what you do, because reality is no one else can do what I do. Do you know what I mean? The way I do it. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Are there other funny people, personal training people? Yeah, there are. Do you know what I mean? Are there other people that look like me in great shape? There's tons of them. Do you know what I mean? But me, the combination of what I offer, no one else can do it. So I've got to stick to my, do you know what I mean, my idea and what I like to do whilst making sure it's purposeful. So that's the approach with the social media.
No, I hear that, and I think that shines massively.
Yeah, go on then, man.
Have you ever got an inquiry and then you went to the gym? Yeah. It turned out to be one of your people at school?
Oh, that's a good question. All the time, man.
No way.
On a regular basis, I get parents who stop me. I mean, I get all sorts, man. Like, I get parents who like stop me, and I'll be out for dinner. Like, I remember I was in dinner there. I've seen like the parents stop me like, yo, like, hello, like, I'll follow you on social media. You teach my son.
Do you turn into the teacher, or are you still Josh?
I'm still Josh, but Josh is the teacher. Like, do you know what is another thing that I read in this book? Like, it was so interesting. There was an actual post about it the other day. It was like, do you know what it is though? Like, this whole thing about identity is so interesting because it's like, I'm Joshua Oguntuashe. Yeah. I'm not a personal trainer. Yeah. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a social media. I'm Joshua Oguntuashe. As individuals, there's so many different dynamics. We're not stuck to what, I don't think the problem is we sometimes try and take on one identity. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, don't get me wrong, obviously if I'm in a classroom, there's a certain way I'm going to conduct myself, which is going to be different if I'm with one of my clients, do you know what I mean? Or, a personal training client, if I'm talking to a kid versus talking to an adult. Yeah. But ultimately, me, as I am, I'm so multifaceted. There's so many different aspects to me, so many different interests. I mean, I've got so many other projects that I want to do beyond fitness. Do you know what I mean? It's beyond teaching. So I think the reality matters. When someone approaches me, it's like, I'm just myself. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously within the confinements of what's acceptable. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to go spudding a parent or going, give me a hug. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's in a certain way you conduct yourself with anyone. But yeah, all the time I get parents, I get students who stop me.
That's crazy.
Listen,
all the time.
What you see is what you get with
Yeah,
Josh.
fully.
I'm saying, and I must say that like, there's going to be people watching this that have maybe thought about coming out and doing a personal training, or maybe just want to have a similar thought process to what you have in their respective field. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do you think being in shape
Great question.
assists in that confidence?
Would you get a barber with no hair to cut your hair?
I have done.
Okay. Why?
I've seen people with no shape saying, "Yo, I'm doing personal training."
But let's just take it away from personal training in a second. Okay, would you get a business mentor who didn't have a track record for making any money be your business mentor?
No, I wouldn't have someone that's
Someone who's broke to be your business
have someone
mentor.
teaching me how to swim who sinks.
Yeah,
basically.
fully.
What I'm trying to say is, what I find is, me in particular, when I've got a haircut, and when I'm in shape, bro, I'm untouchable. Like, it's long for
bro,
any
I think
man
you're
out
untouchable
there.
anyway now.
Yeah, it's long for
bro,
any. It's long
bro,
for
I think
any
you're
man out
untouchable
there.
now anyway,
No,
bro.
but what I'm saying to you is,
Come on, my
the level
G.
of handsomeness. No, I'm joking. No,
The pengness.
Yeah, the pengness is. But what I'm trying to say is, when you are in shape, I believe ultimately that comes with a certain level of confidence.
Fully.
So what I'm saying to you is, I love the way you conduct yourself, and you are who you are, and you've jumped on the pod and you're being yourself. But what I'm saying is that a result of you being happy with the shape that you're in? Does that assist? Like, if you put on weight tomorrow, I'm not saying it's directly related to weight, because we know people that are overweight that are very confident.
Fully.
But do you think that that's an aspect that assists in how you maneuver?
Of course. I mean, I posted it. Someone asked me a question the other day about confidence and self-confidence, and I was like, look, you need to get your money up. You know, having a fresh haircut helps. You know, being dressed well helps, and obviously being comfortable in your own skin. Forget shape, because obviously shape is always going to be subjective. Do you know what I mean? So let's just look at Lizzo. Anyone know Lizzo, the musician?
Yeah. Big, beautiful.
She's big and beautiful, and she's the reason why people love her is because it's not necessarily she's in shape. She's comfortable in her own skin. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. In her eyes, she's in good shape, and a lot of people look at her and go, "Look, actually, the shape you rock it." She's confident in it. So I always say to people, it's not necessarily about getting a six-pack or aspiring for six-pack or aspiring for big glutes or aspiring for the small waist. It's being comfortable in your own skin. If you're comfortable in your own skin, that comes with a certain level of undeniable self-confidence.
I think it's important for people to understand as well, where they are currently sitting at the minute is what someone else's goal is.
Yeah,
so if you appreciate where you are right now and where you're going forward, you'll always be cool. Because 100%. There's a man out there that might be 80 odd whatever, trying to get to my size. But I'm trying to get to his size, and he's trying to get to his size. So you just got to be confident in what it is that you're trying to achieve and who you are as a person as you come. Do you know what I'm saying?
100%.
What's your thoughts on that with, within the rap game and how you come across? I think even though your appearance is very unique, so you have to have a certain level of confidence with that.
Bro, I know a lot of people that have been doing music way older than me, you know what I mean, for 10, 15 years. And they still, to this day, they can't perform on stage.
Right.
They have better following. They have better views on YouTube. I'm like, yo, why don't you perform? You probably get, a little paycheck here and there. He's like, man, I can't. I'm not confident on stage. Behind the mic, behind the booth, I'm different, And that comes with it, right? It comes with confidence. It can be, I think the first year I did, it was the F1 Fan Zone. The first track, I performed it on stage. I didn't care, because I was always cool. I didn't care what people were going to say. I didn't care what, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that helps, bro. And even though, although I'm confident, I want to get better at it.
Yes.
Always I'm trying to get better at, probably shape, probably sometimes I get bored of my haircut. I change my haircut every 3 years, you know what I mean? And I get more confident when I have better haircut, you know what I mean? I think it's a mental health, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
I think as human beings, we should always look to level up. I think we should always look towards change. For me, if I buy a nice house and it's decorated fantastically, in a year or two's time, I want to move around the furniture a little bit. Like, so, you know, when you just want to mix it up, I want to get a different haircut. I want to grow out the beard. I want to cut the beard off. So you're always kind of keeping yourself new. You don't want to ever get, you're now moving into a territory. You're now moving into a territory of complacency. So I think it's always good to refresh what you look like, what you're about, and stuff like that. But for me, and I want you guys to also chime in with this year, not even fitness related, but if you ain't got a good trim, can you go clothes shopping? Bro, if I go clothes shopping and I ain't got a trim and I don't feel good, well, no matter what I try on, it looks shit. It looks terrible. But if I've got a trim, bro, and I go out, I go to the mall, and anything I try on, don't matter what shop I walk in, it's looking mad.
I heard that fully.
What's your thoughts on that?
It's interesting.
Is it not that deep?
I don't think it's that deep, just purely to the fact that, like, come on, man, like, trim or no trim.
We say trim.
Man said fire without
trim. Man said trim or no trim, I'm trimmed. So right now, don't matter.
Trim or no trim? No, I'm joking.
Trim or no trim, I'm trimmed.
No, I'm not. That trim. Like, I always say to people, like, when people ask me how tall I am.
Trim means haircut, in case.
Haircut. Like, I think the trim gives you the extra edge in it. It gives you that extra bit of confidence.
Definitely.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Definitely.
I've made some great decisions with a trim. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I've made some horrible ones as well.
I heard that. But it just gives you that level edge. So I would say, like, I don't think it's that deep for me when I go shopping, because I just know. Do you know what it is? Also, what's really important? You have a consistent barber. If you've got a consistent barber, there's always a vision. So for me, it's that I know, all right, cool. Whilst I'm not 100% confident, when I go to shopping or whatever it might be, when I try on that top or that whatever it might be.
You have the image in your head.
That image of what my barber's about to do.
Oh, you think to myself? I hear that.
Do you know what I mean? I know what my barber's about to do, so let's. I mean, this is not conducive. It's not ideal. Do you know what I mean? But you know what? I can see.
He's gonna make this look good.
Look good. 100%. Do you know what? Sometimes it's even better. Because you're like, all right, raw, this looks sick.
All right now. So
when the trim comes, wow.
Bro, there's times, I don't know what it does to me, but when I got the trim, bro, I feel more in shape. I feel more confident. Like, everything 100%. Just works for me. Or when I drive, the lights are green. The energy is just mad. It's different. The energy is just mad. But
100%.
Look, let's get to it now. Everyone understands who Josh is. Fitness v Work. Make sure you follow up his page, all that good stuff. Got app coming. Sign up to his services if he's available. You know the vibes, Now, someone hits you up, says, I need a personal trainer. I'm trying to achieve certain goals. Lengthing. How do you go about that? If you've got a client there and it's somebody that, tickles your fancy, she might be single. How do you go about that? I know you. You're a professional, man. So you're gonna say, I don't care. Inside of work, it's work. I'm able to separate. I think the greats are able to do that. All right. I think people that are destined to go places are able to separate it. But what I'm trying to tap into is, what's the secondary way to behave with certain situations? Have you experienced it where you have a client and that client's husband might not be too happy about you training them, or any sort of particulars like that? How do you move and operate around those sort of circumstances?
Bro, that's a skit right there.
That's a skit right there. That's a good idea, isn't it? Yeah, it's true. I think it comes that down to professionalism. I think for me, I'd love to think, and this is interesting. That's an interesting point. I'd love to think, if you're a female and you are going to seek the services of a male personal trainer, I'd love to think that before you get in a situation where your husband's uncomfortable, you've actually sought counsel from your husband and he's okay with it. I have had a situation actually. I
knew it, man. Let's get to it.
When I think back to a client, one of the early clients I had in Dubai, and I used to train her, but it was quite controversial because her boyfriend at the time was also a personal trainer in Dubai.
Okay.
I think makes sense, to be honest. Like, even people I've dated before, like, personal training with your partner isn't necessarily something that's going to be that effective per se, because you might not.
There's other things involved.
Do you know what I mean? Other things involved, you might not take it that seriously. So it was a bit of a sticky one. And for me, like I said, I think I'm a professional more than anything else. I think you don't mix business with pleasure. Do you know what I mean? And I think the way I always look at life, like a man who can't control his dick can't control his life.
I hear that. That's big fact.
Do you know what I mean? So I think the
but there's insecurities, bro.
I think
So let's say you got the missus, yeah?
Yeah.
Let's say you're in a fantastic relationship.
Yeah, fully.
She wants personal training.
Yeah.
But as we've already established, you ain't the person for her because you're in a relationship.
Yeah.
So she goes to AJ, Anthony Joshua,
Yeah.
and says, yo, I'm going to go with Anthony Joshua. He's got a new boxing training camp and he's going to directly train me 8:30 p.m. an hour in, I'm saying, at night time.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
Everyone has their insecurities, but I'm so confident in myself and what I bring to the table.
So you're okay with AJ like squatting the missus?
Fully. And do you know what it is? I won't lie to you. Listen, if you end up losing your missus to AJ,
there's worse people to lose.
There's worse people to lose your missus to. But
I
think, I think there's a number of aspects. Let's unpick it. One, I just don't think I'd have a partner who'd be seeking personal training in the first place because I'd like to think they've got the lifestyle habits in place, whether that's obviously the nutrition in place, being a regular active person in place, going to gym classes in place.
People have personal trainers that are already in shape to sustain. So
fully. But I imagine an environment where if I'm regularly training and I'm a trainer and obviously I'm looking for a partner who's also quite a health-seeking individual, I would be surprised if she needed a personal trainer. However, you're right. Even if she was in shape, she needed to get a personal trainer. Go and be my guest, whether you want. That's a male or female. That's entirely up to you. I'm very confident in myself, and obviously I'd love to think that, I trust my partner. I think that more comes to your trust between you and that individual. Do you know what I mean? There's definitely more. I think there's always going to be like, if your partner goes and trains with someone who's a male and is also in great shape, there's always going to be that at the back of your mind, okay, this is a bit. But I think, you can't control that. I learned to control. This is the thing. In this life, the reason why I don't get in those kind of situations and that jelly, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're doing that, is, once I feel that way, or I feel a bit threatened by you or a girl or anyone else, my instant thing is to go back into my own space and work on myself.
Right.
Because that's the only thing I have control over. Do you know what I mean? You might go, listen,
facts,
fam, you might go over tomorrow and say, look, I don't want to be fucking friends with Joshua anymore. I don't fuck with this guy anymore. I'm going to go and do something else. Or, do you know what I mean? Or we might have a holiday plan. You might decide that I can't control that. Do you know what I mean? I can't control what you do. And likewise what you do. Do you know what I mean? Like you might after this go and talk smack about me or say, look, he's got shitty carbs or what. I can't control that. Yeah. All I can do is control myself and what's in what I have as a person. So I think the more you spend energy controlling the things that you have control over, the better. Do you know what I mean? So all that, a girl doing this, I couldn't give a shit. Do you know what I mean? I'm me. Do you know what I mean?
And but at the same time,
as soon as I start giving a shit, I've got to look at myself.
Big facts. But what I'm saying is, if you have a client, and her husband is insecure, and she's saying to you, look, don't say nothing, but we're having conversations behind closed doors, and he doesn't like how you look. Obviously, you're in great shape.
Why is that my problem?
Whatever. Like, what do? You just continue to?
I'll continue offering my service. Like it's not my role to bruise my client's husband's ego. Do you know what I mean? Fuck that. Fuck him. Go to hell, bruv. You're going to sort yourself out. Do you know what I mean? That's not my problem.
I'm sure there's loads of that. Of course it's difficult because I'm sure there's a load of that.
But this is what I'm saying, boys. Like I think even as we sit here, we all have our own insecurities. Do you know what I mean? We all got our things that we feel slightly uncomfortable about. Do you know what I mean? That's with everyone. No one.
I was a little bit taller.
Yeah. Whatever it might be. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've got ugly feet. Like whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like small carbs, whatever. I think we all got our own insecurities. And I think the reality of the matter is, we just have to learn to manage them and
deal with them.
And deal with us. We talked about Lizzo. Overcome them. Talked about Lizzo before. There's so many people who have Lizzo shape and have huge insecurity issues. And I think the reason, from a marketing perspective, Lizzo is fantastic because the reason why she does well beyond being really talented is because she's someone that we would look at typically to be insecure and not out there, but actually she is very, very out there. She's very, very confident in her own skin. That's the product of good, high self-esteem. Yeah, that's it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it doesn't matter about someone's shape or gender or whatnot. I think you just got to work on yourself and you continue working on yourself.
I think. Look, he's coming with some great answers. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm gonna ask you, how long have you been training?
How long have I been training? 12 years.
12 years.
Yeah.
12 years. Strong.
12 years.
It just goes to show as well, like consistency is important, isn't it? In anything that you do. I think that goes without saying.
Fully.
Do you think, like, as a fitness professional, is that what you call yourself? Fitness professional?
Yeah,
what would you say?
Yeah, I'll call myself a fitness professional, yeah.
Would you say that you got a duty of care And what I mean by that, if you go to a public gym
Yeah.
and you're working out and you see somebody that is working but the form is off, like almost damaging, like where it's going to long-term effects if they continue to move like that. Do you say to yourself, listen, that's how they want to operate, that's how they want to train, it's up to them? Or do you think, I've got a duty of care to say, yo, mate, you might want to... But then that could bring confrontation. So how do you operate like that? Or it might be a lady and you might say, excuse me, and she might think that you're moving to... Like, how do you just kind of mind your own business to make... Like, how would you operate in that sort of...
I definitely 100% mind my own business. The reason I mind my own business is because I think sometimes you look at this whole training exercise thing from an aesthetic point of view. There's so many different aspects to why someone enters the gym. People enter the gym to let off steam. They enter the gym to escape. I don't want to go into the gym after a shit day or after losing my job and my techniques a bit off and some guys come to fucking tell me, look, you need to raise your back a little bit higher. I think the reality of the matter is, if your technique's bad and you start to feel it, it's like me. Like, I remember training the first few years, I just couldn't get my, when it came to training my back, I just couldn't get it right. And I went through periods where even certain man would come to stop me in these bodybuilding gyms. Oh, mate, I've been training for fucking 10 years and you're doing it wrong. I'm like, fuck off. Like, ego told you. Fuck you, leave me alone. And obviously, like, I was with one of my boys at the time and he's following my lead and you're now coming to tell me that I'm doing it wrong. Bruv, step.
I hear that.
Bro, step. Do you know what I mean? But then, eventually you go, like, I'm doing this wrong and this will get help. Then we're going to seek help. And this is it with everything in life, isn't it? Like,
you're not naive to the fact. You're actually trying to work on it, but you still got like someone might be working on something and you still got someone say, oh, that's not the right way. But in your head, you know that. You're just trying to perfect it.
Exactly. And that's the point I'm trying to make. You don't go and stop someone in the gym and teach them proper. Obviously, context is dependent. If you work in a gym and you know that person and whatnot, different. Do you know what I mean? But if I see someone with poor form, then no, I'm going to leave them to it and let them do their thing. And like I said, we need to stop looking at the gym space as people's opportunity just to improve their overall aesthetic. People step in that space to let off steam. They step in that. They step into that space to escape. I think people step into that space, especially women in a weightlifting environment, which is quite intimidating anyway. The last thing they want is man coming up to them. Well, at least for many women, the last thing they want is man coming up to them going, "Oh, you're doing this wrong," or "You need to change this." And whatnot.
There's nothing more motivated than a man that's just split up with the missus, boy.
Yeah, fully.
A man, I work the gym differently.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So yeah, male or female, like if you see someone like doing it wrong, do you know what I mean? You let them do it wrong and they want to make change.
And assess the situation.
Yeah. I mean, it is
understand the vibe.
100%. It's always
read the room.
Read the room.
I want to ask you guys a question.
Yeah, it's always context.
You guys, right?
Yeah.
So one of those days I went to the gym for like a couple of days, you know what I mean? Like always, bro. Bro, there's something wrong with me, bro. Every year I buy protein, I buy a couple of shit, and it just parks. Gets expired. The next year, same shit. New year, new me situation.
Fully.
I go to the gym. It's always the big people. They take 3 hours at the machines, bro.
Yeah.
And I need some shit for me to say to them. So you know what I mean? Like it's always the big people that they feel they prioritize the whole thing for them.
Yeah, fully.
They have all the weights next to them. Everything is next to them. Like even if you're trying to find a weight, you're like, what is it? You look at, I'm like, this guy got everything around, and it's like
he's got to find a gym that is best suited for you, then, isn't it? Like where you kind of avoid. Fully. Listen, I think there's gyms in Dubai that I'm not going to mention. That they're renowned for people that maybe bend the rules. Do you know what I'm saying? Man that take, not supplements, but like steroids and all them things there. That's a whole different conversation as well. So it's about finding the right environment where you're not going to get those idiots in there or everyone's respectful to a degree. But yeah, I understand, bro. Like, I've been places where man's trying to flex. He's not even in the gym to work out. He's in the gym to flex up and make everyone feel a type of way. And he's coming with that masculine energy, trying to move. It's like, brother, just chill off a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, fully.
Let me take them weights because you're not using it, bro, and I'll put it back when I'm ready.
Fully. But just give me another video idea as well, man.
No, exactly. I'm sure there's a bag of them because there's loads of
video.
Bro,
someone who hugs up all the machines and all the fucking weights.
All the weights is like round about.
Yeah, all the weights, man. Yeah,
bro, everything. And obviously, I went to the dentist fucking gyms, growing up. I went to like 100 dirham a month, type of, you know what I mean, gyms in Abu Dhabi, bro. And it's like, it's one of those days I'm like, all right, cool, let me try it out. Bro, I go in, obviously, the whole place, you just see people. Bro, there's something about people staying in the gym for 6 hours. There's same mans, they stay in the gym for like 3-4 hours. And it's like, that's how you're supposed to do it, Bro, and you find the ones that are actually shouting the whole time. bro, the thing is, you can't say shit to them, bro, because they're fucking huge. It's not like one of those that like, you're like, bro, it's always the big ones.
I've not, like, do you know what, it's so funny, I've lived here for 3 years and there's actually a lot of gyms that you'd be surprised that I've never stepped foot into. Not because I just don't like those gyms, it's just, I'll be honest, I like going to a gym where there's lots of treadmills, there's hot girls. I don't want to be surrounded by bare man when I go to the gym. Do you know what I mean? I want to
100.
Yeah, I want some pretty women.
Yeah, that's motivation as well.
Fully, man.
Because if I'm on my last
that
rep,
little two-piece, do you know what I mean? Like,
if I'm on my last rep, yeah, and I'm dead, but I turn around and see J-Lo, but I'm gonna find extra strength.
Fully.
And I think that's important. Understanding what works for you. Certain men like to go gyms that are like leisure clubs. They play relaxing music.
And there's
all
a
the
pool
gyms
on the
is
side.
little pool on the side. It's all pretty, little jacuzzi thing. Yes, certain man like I want to go to the bando, the trap. The weights look mash up.
The bando.
Looks like I'm in a jail ass, but that gets my testosterone going. And certain man like a balance. Certain man like women to be there. So it's about understand. I can't go to the gym without music. If I don't have my headphones and I'm not training with someone, it's long for me.
100%.
So it's just all about
the balance. I think the balance between the bando versus like the tranquil swimming pool spa vibe in between is nice.
Yeah, the ones in between is the best ones you go to. Ultimately, you're not trying to pay fucking 30,000 a year for a gym. You know what I mean?
It's funny because I've spoken to a lot of fitness-based men that are in fantastic shape, and a lot of them have told me that because they're quite, got a stature, very built and ripped.
Yeah,
people see them as unapproachable, so they try their best to kind of like not dumb themselves down, but speak in a softer tone and make people feel comfortable in order to speak to them. Like, and I know what you're gonna say. It's all about being yourself, and it is what it is. And good energy will obviously receive what you're supposed to receive. But what do you say to that? Like, is there a certain level of not insecurity, but like, look, let's keep it a buck, You're a black man in fantastic shape. Some people see that as what's the word I'm looking for? Intimidating is the word I'm looking for. So how do you cater to those people that are maybe ignorant in that sense?
I don't think you.
Or is it not a fault?
But I think you don't cater to ignorance. Like, people are ignorant for a reason. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't cater to ignorance. But I think what you can do is, like I said at the start, with stuff like social media and how you present yourself and how you try and make. Because you're right. I'm always going to look this way, so to speak. I think it's the how you handle yourself. And I suppose I probably haven't got that much experience of, I suppose, picking up clients from a commercial floor, because I picked up the bulk of my clients online. Right. So I suppose other people or other professionals will probably be able to shed better light on how you pick up someone on the gym, like on a commercial floor. But yeah, I think and I think also as well is that I love what Jay-Z said. Like, obviously Jay-Z's got the hair, isn't he? Similar to yours. Yeah. I mean, and someone was asking him in an interview, and they were like, when you go into like the boardroom, like, how do you act? He's like, bro, I just go in there as my 100% self. Do you know what I mean? Some people are going to look at him and go, oh, look at that guy, look at that black guy with his hair, he doesn't know what he's doing. Some people go, that's Jay-Z, damn celebrity. Someone can go, he's a great businessman.
Yes.
Ultimately, you can't stop. Going back to the control thing, you can't stop how people perceive you. Do you know what I mean? I think if people want to have that ignorant perception and think, well, you're this kind of person or whatnot, I'm not going to approach you. They're not going to approach you. You don't have to dumb yourself down for anyone. No, I've been in a gym floor, and I'm pretty sure other guys, bigger, better shape, I've been in a gym floor and they've been approached. And I think sometimes when I get approached by females, mainly, they'll just be like, look, you look like you know what you're doing. Can you help me? Do you know what I mean? So I think mate, it goes back down to the kind of control thing. I don't cater to anyone's ignorance. Do you know what I mean? If you want to be ignorant, you be ignorant. Do you know what I mean? I think it's up to you for you to educate yourself and find that education. I think all of us, even in this room, we hold certain perceptions and assumptions that make us ignorant. That person, the person we hold that view on, it's not their job to make us think otherwise. It's for us to educate ourselves and step out of that environment. Do you know what I mean? It's like I always say to people, I did a post the other day, I was like, I've actually not been motivated to train for the last 6 months.
I was going to ask you about that.
5-6 months, I've not been motivated to go to the gym.
Why?
I just haven't been. It's a bit like I've not really got a specific goal in mind that I'm looking for. I've been really, really busy with work and business, the whole coronavirus thing happening. I felt drained, not a lot of energy. I feel overworked. I've not been motivated to go to the gym.
Is it because they left us indoors?
Yeah, that would be I'm an extroverted person. Extroverted people get their energy from other people, but I've not been motivated to go to the gym.
So how do you override that and become motivated?
Discipline in education. And I think one of the game changers for me in terms of me maintaining my physique and maintaining the whole fitness-esque thing, I think you touched in the 3 hours of workout thing. I think the more education you have, the easier it is for you to create a structure which is sustainable and still allows you to achieve your goals. I mean, I, for one, in the last few years, even in this last 6 months, I've got myself into better shape, even though I've not been motivated to go to the gym. Why? Because I've got the education. I know that a 45-minute workout is enough. Do you know what I mean? I know that, listen, if I have a snack here or there, it's fine. If I have a bad day of eating, I always say to people, a sunny day doesn't make a summer, does it? So one bad day of eating doesn't let's say define your diet, does it? So I think for me, from my perspective,
unless you're living in the UK, bro. That's about as a summer as it
gets. Fully. So when I go back down to that discipline thing, I would just look at what is the bare minimum that I need to do in order to maintain what I have in place. Do you know what I mean? And obviously with the psychological impact, and I do that bare minimum, and I build on that bare minimum. But yeah,
I think it's important to get into as well. We've kind of done things in the reverse.
Yeah.
But I do want to touch on it before we wrap up. And
I have one more question before you wrap up.
Okay.
Yeah,
no, I'm not wrapping up now, but I'm just saying it's important to ask the question. But go ahead first. Go ahead first.
Yeah.
There's always talks between people, like even the people that I know that are actually working out and stuff. How many muscles a day you should train?
It's interesting. I think it depends on the person, but I mean, you've got the bro split where you basically would typically train one muscle group a day. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, typically. Okay. This is the typical thing to do.
You can still grow it. You can.
I don't think it's the most practical for a normal person. So going back to the start of this interview, we talked about my brand and the busy podcast. Sorry.
I'm really joking. I got to get him somewhere. I've got to get him. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Going back to the start of this podcast, one of the things that I did say was it's all about trying to create that balance to help the busy working professional. One way I create that balance is the PPL split: push, pull, and legs. Okay, so what you have is you have a push day where you train chest, shoulders, and triceps. Then you have a pull day where you train your biceps and your back, and then you have a leg day, okay, where you just focus on the legs, and that's it.
3 days.
3 days.
A week.
3 days a week. That's all I trained for the last I don't know, maybe 3 years on average. Weight training.
Is it different than someone that actually starting, or because you just?
That's a very good question. So in terms of someone who's starting up, they can still do the 3 day split, because the 3 day split, by and large, will allow you to cover enough volume and sets in order to grow, at least early on. Okay, and then from there you need to build on. The problem with life and the world that we live in right now is, I get someone else in this room and they'll go, nah, you don't need to do that. A lot of people are trying to sprint before they can even crawl. And a lot of people will go, you can't do the PPR split if you're just starting. It's not enough time. You're not going to be able to build muscle. I'm like, bro, one, you wake up in the morning fucking eating Pringles. You've not trained in the last fucking 2 months. Just go to the gym 3 times a week. Do that consistently for 2-3 months. You'll see results. Yeah. Once you've got there and you've reached a plateau, which you eventually will, then build on it. Do you know what I mean? That's it. And I think that's what I say to people, like, yeah, all right, the PPR split, can it get a bit more complex than that thereafter? Of course it can. But is it a good foundation to build stuff? I mean, all my clients are in a PPR split, and all of them have found progress in that split. Some of them are doing it for a year and a half, okay? Sick. And the beauty of that compared to, for example, the pro split is, if I miss shoulders on Monday, I've missed shoulders for that week. Do you know what I mean? But if I miss a pull day, I've just missed, or if I miss a push day, for example, which is including triceps, shoulders, and chest, at least then I can go back in the gym later on that week and still do my push day. Do you know what I mean? So as opposed to missing one muscle group, which you know you're not going to be able to make up for because you still have to train all the other muscle groups across the week. You can still go back to that push day. Do you know what I mean? So it's a lot more sustainable. So it's a very, very good starting point for someone who's trying to build muscle. I think it's also a great starting point for someone who is also trying to maintain. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think it's the best. I think it's the best split. I mean, I used to do the bro split for a number of years. And again, like even me, like I work out on average 4 or 5 times a week. I'll have the 3 PPL, and then I'll play basketball one day. Then I have, I might do like a Barry's hoop boot camp or hip class one day. Do you know what I mean? Okay. And I think this is the thing, like we see a lot of things in social media. Listen, I've been that person for a very, very long time. We see someone who's in great shape when they do something, and then we don't question it. And that's what pisses me off now. Why don't we question everything that's like what we see people do? Yeah. So I remember like when I was training years back and I'd get in shape for a holiday, I'd like completely drop carbohydrates. Not really understanding the science.
That's what I would do.
Do you know what I mean? But not even understanding the science of why I drop carbohydrates.
Day 3, I'm folded. I can't even see.
You drop carbohydrates. Why are you dropping carbohydrates? I'm dropping carbohydrates because my favorite influencer on social media has dropped carbohydrates before he's fucking prepped because he's trying to be 4% or 5% body fat. Do you know what I mean? That's not me. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to go to Ibiza and, you know, live it up. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, do whatever I'm going to do in Ibiza, if you know what I mean. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to be 4 or 5% body fat. And
but some people think that's the fast track.
Exactly, but it's not the fast track, is it? Because the reality of the matter is, when you look at the science of carbs and why people obviously lose weight quickly with carbs, it's because once you take carbs out of the equation, you drop water weight. If you drop water weight, when you go on the scale, you're going to be lighter. So if I go on the scale and I'm 95 kg, I'm going to go, oh shit, like I was, I don't know, 98 the week before, I'm now 95. Oh, I've lost loads of fat. No, you haven't, you've lost water weight. That's it, you've not lost fat. Okay, fat is different to water weight. Yeah, like literally. Yeah. So a lot of people go on this thing, oh yeah, nah, or on the keto diet. And I know people are going to give me stick for keto, but I fucking hate the keto. And that's it. I hope whoever's listening.
We're riding with Josh, so bun all you man that are doing up keto.
Yeah. Fuck the keto diet.
Fuck the keto
diet. I hate the keto diet. But a lot of people do the keto diet, think they're getting exponential extra weight loss or whatever. No, it's not. It's just water weight that you've lost. Okay? And obviously the thing is, consuming carbs and having a high carb intake does induce more water. You will hold more water naturally. If I told you, whatever you weigh now, if I told you not to eat carbs for 2 days, you would weigh less when you go on that scale. In your mind, you're, oh, yeah, I've lost fat. No, you haven't, okay? Yeah, you might have lost a bit of fat, but that's not a product of you necessarily dropping the carbs out. It's just the product of you losing the water weight that comes with that. Do you know what I mean? How you actually lose fat is just being in an energy deficit over time. Do you know what I mean? So just balancing out your nutrition, focus on your protein, get your fats in, whatever you've got left in carbohydrates, and balance that over time. So, you know, going back to the question you asked about the PPL split is fine. You don't need to necessarily train. I would strongly encourage you not to train. It's every single muscle group on a day-to-day basis. Do you know what I mean? And I would strongly encourage people not to follow their, like, one thing I've started doing now is that my social media, like a massive thing, I just unfollowed bare people. Do you know what I mean? And now I've got my social media frame now looks like this. It looks like I've got loads of coaches. So the reason I follow coaches, because the reality of the matter is, these coaches are the people who understand the science and actually know what the fuck they're doing. Do you know what I mean? Then you've got people like me who have the genetics, so I can flourish with these coaches. Do you know what I mean? We follow a lot. Sir?
I was going to touch on that Nigerian blood.
100%. Do you know what I mean?
That Nigerian advantage.
You look at someone.
Man kill one grape, man's just mad shape.
Exactly. And you're out here following my diet, or it's like
it doesn't matter.
You got to follow the people who have the education and knowledge, and that's what I say to people. I always encourage people to go and do your research. And even some of my skits, I think I did a skit, like an ESPN style skit about why people should eat carbs. Do you know what I mean? And this is what all this is. It's giving people that education and knowing people, like allowing people to understand that, you know, there's a lot of misconceptions and myths out there. Like, I even know like really top high performing bodybuilders who don't do train muscle group every single day. I would say training 3 times a week is always going to be better than training 5 times a week every once in a while.
What about in which day do you actually train your abs though?
It's a good question. I mean, I typically don't train my abs that much. One, I think everyone has abs. Okay. The only reason you can't see abs is because you've got fat over them. Everyone has abs. Okay? Everyone. Do you know what I mean?
It's somewhere in there.
Everyone has abs. Okay. Developing the size and the girth of those abs, obviously going to be by and large dependent on ab exercises and core exercises. But what kills me all the time is seeing people in the gym 15, 20 minutes having days where they dedicate to abs and then their diet's still shit. Stop eating Pringles for breakfast, for starters. And if we stop eating Pringles for breakfast and we've got a balanced diet...
But Pringles is wavy for breakfast.
It's not breakfast, is it? Listen, maybe if you're on an IB for bender and you've just finished black coffee after an 9 hour shift. Do you know what I mean? Like,
man's done up the circle.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what I mean? Done a circle. 100%.
Better than Pringles for breakfast.
Fully. There's always time and place. Listen, if I talk about my diet sometimes when I'm on holiday, different situation. But for the normal person, this is what I'm saying to you. Like, in life, we just need to fix the basics. Do you know what I mean? Like, that this is applicable to everything. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've got people in their finances, like, oh yeah, I want to do this and do that and do that. All right, cool. Do you have a budget? What do you mean a budget? You haven't got an Excel budget and you want to do all this crazy stuff finances-wise. Just work on the basics and build from the basics. The basics are your building blocks. And I think if more people did that, I think we'd get like, a lot of people would be, one, happier and more successful. Why? Because they can be consistent in what they're doing. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
No, I hear that. I think you're dropping a lot of gems, and like you said, it's applicable to a lot of fields as well, isn't it? And we push that here when the time is right. So it's good to hear it again from somebody that's in a particular field that we're not into. So no, it's really good. And do you know what? One of the conversations I'm seeing online, let's just touch this, and it's about masculine energy. I don't know if you've seen it bubbling online, and a lot of women are saying, like, you know, what is masculine energy? They want a man with masculine energy and all this sort of stuff, and it doesn't necessarily depend on what you look like, it's how you operate. Yeah. So I say that to couple in with the fitness thing. Do you think being ripped, being in shape, and carrying yourself a certain way is masculine? Or do you think it's more about the mental side of things and how you operate, integrity?
I think it's a combination of both. If you like go and compare, I don't know, what we consider, like always, like a question sometimes I ask and I hear like on a podcast one day is like, why do we always yearn after a six pack? Why is a six pack attractive? Where does that go back to? If you go to ancient Greek god times, that's how they were framed. That's why, from a mental perspective, that's what we consider to be powerful, explosive, and obviously all the connotations and stigmas that come with that. Do you know what I mean? So if you go back to the connotations and the stigmas that we attach to being in shape and being masculine, or, you know, being masculine, that is being masculine. Do you know what I mean? Being muscular, should I say. If we go back to those times and we look at that muscular frame, and we go back to those kind of people and those Greek gods that we associated, you know, they were men, they were muscular men, they were powerful, they were strong men. So one would say that obviously your physical shape does come with that. I think there's other aspects to it. I think, you know, money, protection, do you know what I mean? Being able to do the other, having those other aspects is a massive part. And I would argue is probably more important for, I mean, if I'm looking from a woman's perspective, in my personal opinion, I think a woman's going to seek someone who can protect and provide for her more than someone who's
in shape.
In shape. Do you know what I mean? Because
I know bare waist man in shape, you know. I'm not gonna lie. Exactly. I just thought I say out there. I know bare waist man in shape.
Fully. So I think it's having a nice combination of both. Do you know what I mean? But I mean, I'm not familiar with that kind of trend that's going on or being discussed online. But yeah, I do think so. Both of them play in part. But I do think, you know, your ability to protect and provide is a massive element to, you know, being masculine or considered masculine, so to speak. But again, on the flip side, I'm like, what are you saying? Are you saying women can't be masculine if they're not? Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know what I mean? Sometimes it's like.
What's your thoughts on a woman that's kind of like? Because I've been to the gym before.
Yeah.
And obviously everyone's got different preferences, but I've seen it where it's like you're getting into a space now, love. Listen. Everyone's got preferences. I'm not judging women and all that sort of stuff. What I'm trying to say is my personal preference is there's times where I go into the gym and there might be a woman PT, but in my opinion, she's hench. Like, she's surpassed where I would say that, you know, she meets the best requirements. So now she like super ripped, super muscly, shoulders are broad, and for certain man, that's what they're into. But what's your thoughts on that? Like, do you think, I know it's a techie one. It just depends on, I suppose, I'm going to answer it for you. It just depends on what everyone else, what that person wants to achieve, innit, effectively. But I think that it does move into a space where now it can become intimidating to men. It's like, bro, I don't even know if I can handle that in whatever shape.
I think
size and form.
It's preference. I think it comes down to preference. Yeah, it does come down to preference. I mean, credit to women or any individual who's able to achieve a great physique. Do you know what I mean? And I think everyone's entitled to look the way they want to look. And I think, you know, what isn't your cup of tea is going to be someone else's cup of tea.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think it's that simple as far as that one's concerned. Yeah, credit to them. Do you know what I mean?
Well, we're going to wrap this up. Just a quick question, since this is the crossover and we do get to the music and rap and stuff like that. You're into rap, innit?
Yeah.
I know you like your black coffee and you know what I'm saying, those vibes there. Vibes.
Listen, I like a mixture.
But I know you like to mix it. Yeah. What other DJs are there, like kind of renowned house?
Well, I mean, my favourite ones have always been, you know, I like David Guetta, I like Black Coffee, I mean, I love the
Swedish Mafia.
Swedish Mafia is good.
What's the Oriental girl that does her thing?
Oh, I forgot her name, but I know
she come to Blue Marlin. Man had a mad day that day. Mad shite.
So Coloca is always
them
there.
Sort of, but you know what I'm saying.
Those have been my best days in Dubai.
Trust me.
It's closed, right?
Yeah, it's closed.
I think it's closed down. Yeah, closed down. But what I was going to touch on is the Locks and Dipset are doing the verses. I don't know if you've seen that. Have you seen that?
Nah.
Let's not get into. Man says he's a rap artist. Yeah, man don't even know what going on the big. You know what I'm saying? The verses, the locks, and the dipset, and all them things there. I'm gonna pull you up about that on camera. I'm gonna pull you up about that.
He snaked you. Should have formed you.
Yeah, I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? No.
Should have given you the deal.
It's all organic, baby. It's all organic. How can you not know? Right now, after this, we're gonna have a little talking to. I'll get to him on that. But no, man, thanks for coming through. We appreciate it massively. I think you've shared a lot of gems, a lot of information. Make sure you follow him up. Fitness V Work.
Yeah, Fitness V
Make
Work.
sure you follow him up is what I'm trying to say. Fitness V Work.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you want to shout out? What's your Instagram? What's your YouTube, Twitter, TikTok?
Yeah.
Have you all on it?
Fitness V Work. I'm all on all those platforms. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Snapchat. I think I've covered most of it there.
Yeah. Anything else you want to announce or anything cooking up?
I've got an app at the moment. It's on its first phase. There'll be a relaunch in the app coming in winter. The app will be basically everything we discussed
iOS.
Sir?
iOS, Android.
iOS and Android, man. I've got both for you, man. Even though I'm not really feeling the Android people.
Bro, I can't lie, bro. That's another one of my pet peeves. We talk about pet peeves on here, yeah?
Cater to both audiences.
I can't rate, man, that I got Android. I can't lie. If I was single, yeah, and I was linking a gal, buff thing, I say, yo, let me get your number or whatever. She whacks out Android. I ain't gonna lie, fam. I might just dead the whole situation.
Fully, 100%.
So,
fam, you can't. You know, them ones that you take couples pictures, you can't even airdrop it to each other.
I know.
How you guys operate with Android?
Fully.
Things, you know, your pictures are all looking like an NFT, like a, you know the pixel, the pixel thing. But yeah, but anyway, I know you're not gonna get at me in the comments and all that sort of stuff there. But anyway,
it's the green text for me, innit? Like, how can I message you in the green?
Why do your emojis look like that?
Yeah.
Some idiot emojis you got going on. You know what I'm saying? It's not even the wavy Apple ones. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, hey, love for tuning in. It's all love. It's all positive. Do you know what I'm saying? Thanks, Josh.
Yeah.
Big Josh.
Thank you for having me, guys.
You know the vibes. Big Freak Myers in the building. This is the crossover. We are out.
Brilliant.
Thank you for that, guys.
Smashed it.
Love, man.
Smashed it. Gems.
Thank you for having me, man.
Gems.